Simon Maverick presents How I Became the World's Strongest Warrior by Using Basic Attacks by Kenny King. Read by Luke Daniels. 1. Terminal cancer. Stage 4. Everywhere. A week, maybe 2 left. The doctors had been sympathetic, but firm. Get your affairs in order, they'd said. So I had. Cleaned out my apartment, donated everything, quit my job at Reebok where I'd spent 15 years designing shoes that would never be as famous as my stupid namesakes. Chuck Taylor. Yes, that's my actual name. What kind of parents name their kid after a shoe? Anyway, now there was just one last thing to do. It was strangely easy. The truck wasn't moving particularly fast, probably about 25 miles per hour. It was a delivery truck, rusted around the edges, with peeling paint that might have once been white. The driver's eyes met mine for a split second. Horror, recognition, his foot moving to the brake. Too late. The truck's grill filled my vision. At least this way I got to choose. That's all I'd really wanted. Choice. Control. A quick end instead of weeks of pain and drugs and pity. The impact was coming. I smiled. It didn't hurt. That was the strange part. One moment I was staring at rusted metal. The next I was blinking at the bright sunlight, standing in what looked like a medieval courtyard. The stones under my feet were worn smooth like they'd been walked on for centuries. 20 or so other people stood around me, all looking as confused as I felt. Some were in hospital gowns, others in regular clothes like me. One guy was in what looked like prison orange. A translucent blue window floated in front of my face. It wasn't like a computer window, more like it was projected onto the air itself. The edges shimmered slightly when I moved my head, but the text stayed perfectly clear and readable. It looked exactly like every isekai anime I'd ever watched. Of course it did. I reached out to touch it. My hand passed right through, but I could feel something, a slight resistance, like moving through thick air. The window stayed perfectly visible even with my hand behind it. I pulled back and looked around again. The courtyard was surrounded by high stone walls, medieval-looking but too perfectly made, like a video game's idea of a castle rather than a real one.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?